I joined the United States Naval Academy in 1990, and there I played two different sports, squash and lacrosse for 4 years. So a lot of time on the court and in the field, and then was commissioned a Marine Corps officer. Ended up going through the basic school in Virginia, and then down to flight training in Pensacola, Florida, where I became I got jets out of there. So I went to the West Coast after a stint in Mississippi and Texas, and landed in El Toro, California, El Toro Marine Corps Base. And I trained on the F-18, and finished up there at about 16, 17 months. And then my primary station was MCAS Miramar, which is in San Diego, California. And we provided security for basically Westpac. So all U.S. Territories in the Western Pacific, anything that we had to respond to as Marines, we were the pointy edge of the spear at Mag 11 and 3rd Mall. So did a number of deployments in the Westpac through 2002. And that's when my son was born with all his heart issues. And I ended up cycling out of a career in the Marine Corps to a exit in 2005 as a flight instructor the last couple of years, flying F-18s and teaching everyone, our students, how to fly F-18s. And was honorably discharged in 2005, and then started on my professional sports career after the Marine Corps. During the Marine Corps, I was a family readiness officer, among lots of different other jobs, whether it's safety and security operations, scheduling. I ran the largest scheduling for the largest Marine Corps training squadron for a couple years. But it taught me a lot of different skills in regards to compartmentalization, because they give you a lot of work, and you have to be nimble on your feet, and think the best way possible with the least amount of resources to get the job done. So great opportunity. I love my time in there. I spend a year in reunions every year with my buddies who served with me, going to the Westpac. So it was a great time. Love the Marine Corps. Love what it stood for, and the sacrifice that those people make is just it's above and beyond what you can even imagine. So actually, I played all those sports in college and never really had some major injuries, maybe a thumb fused or whatnot here and there. But in flight school, I did tear my ACL playing soccer against some Spanish kids. And that was kind of odd because I'd never been injured really before. But I ripped my ACL and my meniscus. I had 2 scopes on it. And eventually in 97, just after I got winged, I had full reconstructive surgery with my hamstring. They pulled my hamstring forward as an ACL repair. And yeah, so really after that injury, I was very careful in what I was doing. I played a little bit of lacrosse out here in the West Coast, mostly just focused on golf and sports that weren't so like back and forth, tearing up knees. But that was my major, my major issue has been my left knee. My back a teeny bit because I hit a lot of golf balls, but at the end of the day, the reason why I'm sitting here talking to you, Laura, and being involved in SoftWave is the ridiculous turnaround in my pain and my quality of life after I started using the SoftWave device. It limited my ability to basically do everything I really wanted to do. All things being equal, from I would rather play a lot of lacrosse. I probably would have played a lot more soccer. I probably be more active in those things that I excelled in back in the 90s, 80s and 90s. And I had to sort of like lay off the gas, if you will, in regards to those sports. So it was from a pain perspective, sleeping, I would wake up every night, and if my leg was in a different position, my knee really hurt. I totally recognized that when we got to the winter months. Even out here in San Diego, it's pretty warm, but the winter months lock the knee up, and it was tough. So there was definitely scar tissue in there that I always seemed to be rehabbing. So I think I kept injuring it and then rehabbing it, injuring it and rehabbing it. I didn't go to surgery the second time. I just wanted to delay it as long as I possibly could and find a solution like SoftWave. So after about 2 years helping veteran families with a lot of legal issues from other injuries and toxic exposures, there was a lot of pain there at, 10 times what I was experiencing. And I figured there had to be a different way than, going to the VA and get prescribed opioids for pain and or, getting consulted out to, orthopedic surgeons to do surgery. I needed to go on my own sort of journey and venture to find the solutions out there. So I went to A4M, which is a longevity conference in Vegas last year, and started to look and just went booth to booth and learned what was out there and started taking a deep dive in alternative medicines and what was available there for not just myself, but how I could go back to the folks that I helped, the vets that I helped just through this legal side, have an alternative. And then, once I found SoftWave and our team really, I found other alternative shockwave therapies. I didn't know a lot about it. I'm very quick in regards to deciding. I trust my gut quickly, so usually I'll just jump in, which I did. I used other shockwave therapy treatments initially, and then was introduced through a few folks I met out in Las Vegas at A4M and CES to Atlanta and to the headquarters of SoftWave. That not only were you as a company well downrange from 2006 onward, but it had the backing of like since the 80s, great leadership in regards to how they came from lithotripsy into like understanding how this technology could be applied in a number of different ways. And that's when it just sort of like the seas parted, right? I saw all this pain and suffering in the veteran world, and I'm like, this is the solution, or at least one of the solutions with the most efficacy behind it, that we should take on board and really champion into our networks and try to help a bunch of people. So the treatment process for myself was pain-free. I was surprised. I thought it was going to hurt. It didn't hurt at all. It was a little like weird sensation, I would say, but there's no pain involved. They could dial it up, dial it down. And what I really loved the fact is like, I know exactly where my pain is, so I could feel exactly what was going on, and to have something that wasn't, I didn't dread, because going into rehab for my knee and breaking down that scar tissue, I used to dread those sessions because I just don't like the pain. And I used to freaking be upset going into those sessions, and going to SoftWave sessions, I can't wait to go in because I know the immediate relief I'm gonna get. And now I've just seen it work on so many people. It's a foregone conclusion. It's just a matter of basically getting in the chair. And another thing, it was quick, right? It wasn't like an hour rehab session where you're just like crying through rehab. It was 10 minutes, 12 minutes tops, and immediate relief. And yeah, amazing. I'm sleeping all the way through the night because my knee doesn't wake me up. Number two is I'm playing. One of the big reasons SoftWave became in my life too is the last couple of years I picked up pickleball, and I love the sport. I run around the court a lot, and the fact of the matter is that just stressed my knee out. So there's a lot of pain while I was running around the court, and I was not in a good shape last year. So finding it now, it's like, I have no pain. I played 4 hours. I play usually about 10 hours a week training, and I have no KT tape. I have no knee brace. I have no pain, and I'm sleeping all the way through the night after that many hours on the court, which is impossible. I'm just to say it's impossible for prior to SoftWave to now. It's impossible that I would be able to keep that up. I probably my hours probably went down to like 2 or 4 hours to just even manage it. Yeah, I think the country's indebted to those people, and I think they should find them the best technology, the most evasive non-evasive technology to surgery, and anything that does not involve getting any sorts of opioids in the system to manage pain. I think it's a mandatory event. It's really what's inspired our company to be involved with SoftWave. Is just, hey, it's there's one thing about it working, there's another thing about a lot of people that are very experienced in the world, whether they come from the medical world or the professional sports and PT world, that are using this um, um, outside of the military right now. And for me, I look at it as, if I'm a military leader, I want my unit to be in the best fighting shape possible every day. So my vision is there should be outside all these military bases, sort of a database of or a data bank of SoftWave systems, low intensity 500s, and a line of them, treating our sailors and our Marines and our soldiers and our airmen and Coast Guard and their first responders, because at the end of the day, that's who we're leaning up against. The public is leaning up against those people to provide our safety and freedom. If they're not in the best shape, then where are we really as a country? So I feel it as, I've taken it on just on from a personal perspective, and our team is, how do we best drive it into a very unique situation, our country, where healthcare is defined by quarterly returns. And I think we need to switch from quarterly returns to more so just force readiness. And I think we can do that now. Now, in our day and age right now, we have the technology to do it. We have the ability to wake up every day and hold ourselves accountable. I know in the Marine Corps we do. We're working out at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we're standing tall at 7:15. Why not do that a little bit differently, where we're solving, the aches and pains of the last workout the prior day? I'll give you an example. The Marine Corps just enacted WARR, WARR, which is basically, mind, body, soul, or mind, body, spirit program, to give a 360-degree view of not only how to train better and be more prepared, but be in a right mind state when you're walking into that job, whether it's you're turning screws for an F-18 or whether you're, logistics guy trying to get water up to the front lines. And for us to be able to be a really important solution in there in regards to the rehab, I think is critical. And I covered that with the commanding general officer here at Camp Pendleton. This is all fine and dandy, but what are you guys doing on the rehab? Because your HIT programs are going to cause injuries, period. So how do you respond to them, and what do you have available to you other than opioids with side effects that we all know? What could we use, and what has the efficacy around it that could be an easy plug and play? And arriving today is like, we have a GSA contract. We're selling, SoftWave has sold into the VA very, very, on a minimal level, but sort of like the first ripple of wave is happening. And, our goal is basically to turn that into a tidal wave of data banks of SoftWave systems outside and possibly inside bases to increase force readiness at the end of the day. I think just the time aspect of it, like, you're going to get 6 treatments. It's going to cost you an hour of your time over 6 weeks. That means to me, as a leader, for a squadron or a battalion, that's not a lot of time to make sure my Marines and my sailors are in the best peak condition they could be in. And I think as leaders inside the VA and inside the military, we need to look at alternative solutions that are working, that have the efficacy, and we need to at least be doing pilots. The data is already there. It's not like we have to reinvent data for anybody. It's sitting here, and we can use it today, and we can turn around, I guess, the budgets, if you will, because if you look at what the cost is for rehab, and if we could cut those costs down. I know we can cut the cost down. It's not a if, it's just, I know we can do it and be more efficient and be more effective. And if you're looking for efficiency and effectiveness, and you're looking to basically, make a name for yourself in the VA or whatnot, I think this is a great technology to take in front of your peers, fully backed by, decades of experience. That's what they look for, right? You look for what bullet flies the straightest and hits its target. What missile comes off the rail in an F-18 and I know is going to basically take out the target. That's the one I'm going with. So I equate it the same way. If you're in the VA and looking for the best weapon out there to basically take care of, and it's versatile too. This is like one I equated to it, an F-18, an AMRAAM is a missile that goes off that has its own brain, has its own radar, and I can cut that missile and it's going to basically do its own thing. SoftWave sort of like very versatile, i.e., we could go attack an air target, or we could go attack a ground target. From just sports medicine piece to all the way through urology and podiatry and wound care. One of the largest and I just heard this last week, the largest expense of the VA is diabetes for veterans, and the wounds they have to deal. Like, just handling that vertical alone, you're going to bring so much relief and support to veterans to live a healthy and happy life downrange after they serve their country. And I think that's the most important thing we can give back. Specifically, I would reckon, like, just like I did, I went out and tried to find it. You don't have to try to find it. We'll just hand it to you. The SoftWave site itself has a ton of different periodicals and data to research, and videos, from Dr. O'Malley, that's, running big, sports teams, to some of the leading doctors in the world doing on podiatry and urology that are like the guys. And it's just education, right? So you educate yourself a little bit and you go to your primary care physician for your, annual checkup. And I think we need to start asking questions and saying, why is this not available? and then giving a good reference into, those that are making it available, and having that conduit. And that's what we're looking to do, is we're looking to, help veterans not only, get the best support and technology for themselves, but also be part of the process if they want to, and support their family. And that's why I even started our company to begin with, is give them an ability to do a side hustle, give them the ability to pay the bills, and give them the ability to heal people. It's not much better than that. You have 24 hours in a day, and I'm sure we scroll 3 hours of a day. We take off that scrolling and just focus on learning a little bit about technology that's going to help people avoid pain and recover quicker. Then God bless us. We should be doing this, a lot more than 3 hours a day. 11 years in the Marine Corps. I did all the runs, all the PTs. I got injured. I experienced a lot of pain. I'm active. Most all veterans are active people. You're out there trying to do what you're trying to do, but you're experiencing a lot of pain. This is the number one alternative that I've found in the marketplace, and I've searched high and low, and I've also searched through the SoftWave, just the technology itself and the different providers, and no one comes close. So, if you're looking to get out of pain, if you're looking for a good night's sleep, and you're looking at ability to be happier and healthier, not just for playing with your kids, but going out and competing and being that person you want to be, all you can be, I would highly recommend you at least go get the first treatment, because 90% what I've seen on the first treatment, in 10 minutes, you're going to feel a difference. And once you feel that and you go, oh, and it's weird, you don't feel it, right? You don't feel any more pain. So the reaction is, wow, I can't feel anything. And I was like, exactly. So my experience has been fantastic. I'm continuing to do it. Everyone I've referred to it have had great responses back. It's simple to find a provider within your city, and our goal is to bring more providers to you. And whether or not it's covered or it's not covered, it's one of those things. If it's a cash-based business and you're sitting in a state that's cash-based business, then you got to budget for it. So, it's important, if your happiness is the most important thing to you, and your family's happiness, this is an alternative you can go to and budget for. And we're working hard to try to get TRICARE to cover it, and get the VA to be really active with this technology, so it comes to you in a much less expensive fashion. But all things being equal, it's not that expensive either. If you really look at what we're doing for a session nowadays, it's basically half of a meal out in Southern California with 3 people. So if you budget a little bit, you're pain free and you can afford it. So That's what I would say is that, you got to make that a priority in your life, and you got to say, okay, I'm going to go do it. And the last thing I'd say is you get started, then finish. So 6 sessions is what the most protocols are. Don't start and stop and say, oh, it didn't work. It's really about follow through and getting it done. Listen, I'm I love our people that serve our country. Do I love how we treat them? No. When I go to my primary care provider and I say, what's the playbook? And the playbook is you're going to a consult to someone who's either going to prescribe you something or they're going to put you in line for some sort of rehab slash under the knife. And I just, it's ridiculous that those are the only two plays in the playbook that I've seen and that were given to me. And our veterans have to go out and find these solutions. Just doesn't make any sense to me, especially since SoftWave's been around for like, almost 20 years in the States now. So 19 years. Why isn't the VA taking a more proactive approach for our veterans when we know this works and we have the data it does work? That's frustrating. That's like ridiculous. And it's not like SoftWave is putting a big barrier to entry as these systems are $1 million. There's an economical way to do it. It's well inside the buying power of major healthcare system like the VA to at least have these in their vision networks, a couple of them to be pulling data to talk to whoever they need to talk to get it full up and going. I think, unfortunately, on the outside, veterans have to basically, spend their own money, their own time, their own effort to provide these sort of solutions and convince the VA to come forward. And one of the major issues is I think veterans haven't done a good job doing that. Veterans bring solutions to the VA, and what I've heard is that they're half baked, right? So there might be that hurting us. So we have to do better. The VA has to do better, and we have to get feasibility studies in, whether that's whatever process we need to follow. It seems to me like there's 17, 18 different processes across different VAs, which is not providing the healthcare for the veterans, in 100% fashion. It just isn't. So it's extremely frustrating that I have only a simple playbook to go with. It doesn't have any of these alternative medicines available to us. It doesn't have these alternative therapies, if you will, like SoftWave, and it's treating my kids or treating myself and looking at how much it's going to cost me versus what it would really cost the VA, on how much it would basically, the efficiency side alone would just basically cover everything for the vets. So I don't see a big issue why this shouldn't be rampant throughout the VA and help vets, and even like upgrade the in-network providers with SoftWave systems. So if they're not willing, or if they don't have the space to, whatever the problems are, they can't bring it internal to the system, they can at least put it in the community and in network, so the veterans have access to it. And it's anything less than that is not doing right by those who serve the country, period. End of story. It's too painful without it. And we just know where we've gone with opioids. We know where we're going with painkillers. We know down that route is not the route to go. And now it's like, what's our alternatives? Well, the VA should be jumping all over this right now as the alternative. And make sure, fiscal year 2025 that starts in 12 days, should have a number of these banked and ready to rock and roll in 2025 to support our veteran network and our vets and our military that are basically, inside and working their butts off, 12 on, 12 off, typically, to provide the security, safety, and actually the support for, those other countries that we're helping. We're the biggest humanitarian aid program in the world, basically. So it takes a lot of logistics to get that done, and a lot of aches and pains. So if we could have these available for our vets and our military, it's going to change the game, not just for us, but for our other allies throughout the world.